How you doing? I'm Brad Gilbert, and welcome to Sports School. Let's talk a little equipment. I cannot believe that I grew up playing with this piece of firewood. You really had to be decent to play with one of these things, and also the difference from wood rackets when I was a kid to all the composites and graphites now. You pick this thing up, and I can't believe how heavy it was. They're so much heavier. And then we go to the early 60s and 70s, Jimmy Connors' racket, the old Wilson steel racket. I cannot believe it. I don't even know how he played with this thing, but if he didn't play with it, it sure as makes a good weapon. Now to the graphite rackets. This was the big evolution of tennis rackets. When these came in the 70s, everybody had to have a Prince graphite racket. They gave you power and they gave you control. But since then now, they've made so many more improvements. The N-Code is one of the newest, hottest rackets. I happen to play with this racket. It gives you power, control, and you really can feel the ball a lot longer on it. Go to a pro shop that has a demo program, somewhere where you can try like 30 rackets. Some of you like heavy rackets. Some of you like lighter rackets. And don't let anybody talk you into anything. It's all by feel. It's what you like. Because you know what? Sometimes a racket is too stiff. It might not be good for your arm. If it's too light, like me, if I pick up one of these new light rackets, my arm hurts. Some people have the same problem with a heavy racket. Don't get talked into a heavy racket, you'll get tennis elbow. That's why I say process of elimination, try as many rackets as you can, and then all of a sudden pick the racket that's best for you. For me, make sure the racket feels comfortable, like when you swing it in the pro shop, then go out and test it out for a couple of days. You don't like it, don't get it. If you really love one, that's the one for you. A big thing for today's rackets is the grips. I can't believe I learned to play with this straight leather grip. You play with this, nothing but blisters. The only thing you want for your leather grip is so you can have something to put over it now. Because all these over grips, they really conform to your hand like a glove. They make it a lot easier to swing the racket. They're really nice to play with. I play with this white over grip. And the one thing about the over grips, when you do, they don't last as long as a straight old leather grip. When they start bunching up here, or they start wrinkling, or you get a little separation, that's when it's time to get a new overgrip. Because if you don't, and you just play with it until it goes down to the bone, you'll get a blister. You get a blister on your hand, tough to play. So remember, when the grip gets a little worn down, or you get separation, that's the time to switch to an overgrip. The next thing is the grip size. It's incredibly important that the grip fits. You don't want the grip too big or too small. I have a pretty good size hand, so I play with a 4 5/8. You don't want too much separation between the palm of your hand and your fingers. I always say you want about a finger separation. So most guys, if you have a decent-sized hand, play with about a 4 1/2 to 4 5/8. Most ladies that have a smaller hand play with about a 4 1/4 to 4 3/8. But just like trying rackets, try out the grip size, what feels most comfortable for you. If you have a comfortable grip size, you're on your way to playing better tennis. Now, moving on to the strings, I feel like over the last 20 years, this has been the biggest advancement in the game. When I was a kid, there was two choices, old catgut or lousy nylon. Now there's so many incredible synthetic strings. The hottest string on the tour is the big banger string made by Luxilon. It gives you power and control. A lot of guys do, I've copied, a lot of the pros now on the tour, they play half gut, which gives you a little more control, and half Luxilon. There's so many of these other strings as well that give you great control and power. Once again, try out as many strings as possible. One might be too fast for you. One might not be fast enough. So I always feel like, the best way, demo as many strings as you like. Same thing when you find a racket that you really like, demo 3 or 4 different strings to finally get exactly the right racket and the right string that will give you the power control that you really want to becoming a better player. Moving on to the tennis balls. There's lots of tennis balls in the pro shop. I always choose to go for extra duty ball. First of all, I think you got more control. It doesn't fly as far, and it will last a lot longer. You'll get at least 2 or 3 match plays out of it. The lighter duty balls, you'll get a lot more power out of them, but after one time playing with them, you'll notice they're really worn out. You think you're hitting the ball hard and playing really well, go for the extra duty balls. Don't let them talk you into the pro shop. The light duty balls, say you want extra duty balls. They last longer, and they're easier to control. The most important thing behind rackets If you have shoes that hurt your feet, you're going to get blisters. You're going to have all sorts of problems. If you're playing a lot of match play, you're going to be moving side to side. You need to try out as many different shoes as possible. Some are wider, some are narrower, some are more in the toe box. Get some shoes that have air, and then the ones that feel most like a glove. I always say process of elimination. Try a few different ones on the pro shop. Don't let them talk you into the ones that got sale price. Sale price means they want to get rid of them. Pick the shoe. I don't care if it's the most expensive or the cheapest that fits your foot the best. Because I tell you what, if you got good shoes, you're going to feel a lot better moving on the court. Last but not least, the apparel. In the last 5 years, dry fit has taken over the tennis world by storm. When I was a kid, it was all those old cotton and the collars. Go with the shirt without the collar. It's not as stuffy. But the dry fit material breathes so much better. It doesn't stick to your body. And don't get one of those tight glove shirts. Nice freedom in the shirt and shorts. Dry fit I prefer. No collar. The lid is another thing, too. A lot of us like to wear the lid for style. But pick a lid that breathes. Because if you sweat, you don't want it to just stink up and get all hot on your head. You want one that breathes and it's easy to move around in. Have fun with the apparel, and you're halfway to a better tennis game.